Okie dokie smoky. Penultimate script. This is script 6. Take number 1. It is now 12:51 a.m. So I'm way ahead of back on July 5th. And yes, I am stalling. You got that right. Does my hair look all right? Oh, God. Oh, well. Who cares? Content. Okay. All right. So this is script number 6. Take number 1. Something like that. Okay, here is the moment of truth. You have 3 solid 1-minute pitches. But most people actually botch this next step and end up with just a confusing mess. The hardest part isn't writing 3 good pitches, though that is difficult. It's having the courage to cut 70% of what you want to say to create one great elevator pitch. To refine your captivate, validate, and motivate pitches into a single, clear, concise, and compelling 1-minute pitch takes our last step, Synergize. First, you got to extract the core concepts of each of the 3 pitches you've already written. Next, you want to integrate them into an internally consistent whole. You want to then frame your pitch by introducing yourself at the beginning and making an ask at the end. And then you want to be sure to edit ruthlessly down to 200 words, more or less, and then you'll be ready. So let's start with extract. If you've written each of the 3 pitches so that they address your audience's fear and greed, you may find it really challenging to pick out which parts of each to actually incorporate. First of all, good for you. Great writing. Second, great editing almost always means tough choices. That's okay. You will find value in using different elements of these pitches for different audiences. And you'll be prepared for the inevitable questions on issues you didn't have time to cover. That's perfect. Now you've got them engaging with you. Next, you got to integrate all that great information. You are not just running through a laundry list of facts. Hardly anything could be more boring for you to torture your audience with. Instead, pick the insights you've developed in those 3 pitches according to the ones that tell the best story of your value proposition. Next, don't forget to frame your pitch. So many people sabotage themselves right at the start. They never introduce themselves. The audience needs a context for your pitch. They need to know what level of decision maker you are, where you're coming from. Make sure they know who you are, name, title, organization. And even more people finish their pitch without asking for what they want. Nothing makes me crazier than when innovators do this. People do not know what you need to move forward unless you tell them. Whether it's money, resources, a referral, doesn't matter. Tell them, listen to the answer. And then finally, edit, edit, edit. I know it's hard. Trust me. Do you think it was easy to cut out 90% of what I know to write this course? But people can only deal with as much information at any one time as they sign up for. They don't go to networking events to hear your life story, just as you didn't pick this particular course to get my semester-long course on development of your entire value proposition. Okay, same general idea. I usually target about 200 words for a 1-minute pitch. That's definitely an energetic pace. It's about the pace I talk at, but it's usually pretty easy for your audience to follow. If you naturally speak much faster, slow down. Your audience won't be able to follow, especially in a noisy networking environment. My favorite editing tip is to shorten sentences by removing adjectives and then breaking compound sentences and questions into simple, declarative statements. The latter are so much easier to follow. Complex sentences with lots of adjectives are really difficult to parse in real time, especially if you're listening to a lot of pitches in a row. So check every phrase and every adjective for whether you can honestly say that it strongly reduces fear or increases greed for that audience, or both. If it doesn't do that, delete it. Just delete it. Finally, keep an eye out for the following red flags. What if your pitch isn't internally consistent? Too big of a market, too little revenue, vice versa. You have to rush to say everything you want, which will exhaust your audience. or you struggle to remember your pitch. Remember, it's got to be compelling to your audience, but first and foremost, it's got to be your story told your way. Aim for balance over depth. Every pitch needs to have all three components: captivate, validate, and motivate. Your audience will ask for the details that matter the most to them. Okay, as per usual, next page is example pitches, then building block exercises to help you extract your main points from captivate, validate, and motivate pitches. And then your final 1-minute pitch as your most essential exercise. I do have some wrap-up tips and suggestions in the final section when you're ready. Good luck, have fun. My God, 1 a.m. Nope. No lens there, right?